Welcome to Gardening by the Moon with me, Katrina Wolf, and Blue Borage. This is using a New Zealand biodynamic moon calendar. And first up, I would recommend that you go download this free PDF that I have over on my website to help with your planning. So my advice is that you start with the tasks that you have in mind for your garden. Go look up which of the biodynamic preparations you need to complete those tasks, and then go find those dates in the calendar so that you're actually looking for specific information that you can implement in your garden. So here are the key dates for July. We've got the full moon, the new moon, moon opposite Saturn, which I find useful for seed sowing, and then the ascending, descending periods, and the nodes. So over on the right, that's the PDF I create for my monthly subscription program. If you'd like information on that, the link is below this video. So yeah, that makes it easy to just kind of see, okay, that's the layout of the month. Now let's put the tasks into our plan. So these are my 4 gardens. Top left is where I live at the soil farm. Top right is the museum pollinator garden. Bottom left is the Whangarata community hall, and bottom right is the Shara food forest. These 4 photos were all taken the very first day I started working at each space. So it's not how these gardens look right now. Let's skip to the next slide so you can see what I'm focusing on for the month ahead. So at the top left at the soil farm, I am concentrating on an old orchard at the back of the property. It's not near the little granny flat that I live in, and I really want to pack it full of herbs and flowers and use some mulch to create pathways through it. Top right, the pollinator garden at the museum, you can see the yellow calendula is flowering, and those sticks on the pathway are lamb's quarters that I let go completely to seed, and now I'm going to scatter the seed through the garden beds. Bottom left is the Whangarata community hall, where I've made 4 big piles of Madeira vine, and I really want to document the process of turning this invasive species into soil so that we don't need to use toxic weed killer in public spaces. And then bottom right is the Shara food forest, where this is one of the fruit trees that I planted a few herbs around it to create a fruit tree guild, and then the magnolia flowers are just kind of marking the space so that no one comes and covers over my work with cardboard and mulch. So next screen shows you the specific tasks that I have in mind for each of these 4 gardens, and that gives me the preparations and helps me plan what part of the month I need to prioritize different actions to optimally align with the moon calendar. So up the top there, the soil farm is to set up new gardens for spring. Spring's a couple of months away. The BD508, that's the equisetum preparation I put out on my garlic close to the full moon, and then filling that old orchard with herbs. The pollinator garden, pulling up the last of the daily bulbs, I've actually done that, yay. Keep weeding and make a CPP pit and fill it. So just the way I'm recording this, I can't see what I've got written in the bottom 2 slides. Can I remember the community centres? Carry on with the Madeira vine. Keep running weekend workshops. There was one more, and then at Shara at the food forest was to get those fruit tree guilds down and to apply tree paste around all the fruit trees. So here is the kind of notes that I make for myself on my printout of the July calendar. So you can see very start of the month with that full moon is get that BD508 onto the garlic. And then the next 3 tasks I've kind of scheduled around that descending period to time the CPP pit when I'm at the museum, to time the tree paste when I'm at the food forest at Shara. And it turns out that preparing the garden beds for spring is going to be later in the month when we're in the ascending period. A little bit of the pressure is off because for me that descending period is when I want to do most of the digging, the transplanting, the tree paste work, any 500 stirs, filling the CPP pit. That's where my focus is for July, even though it's cold and dark and wet. So if you would like help planning your tasks to align with the biodynamic moon calendar, then please know that I offer this as a service, as an independent consultant, and would love to help you out. My email address is there, katrina@blueborage.co.nz. And otherwise, you will find me teaching at those 3 public venues in and around Tuakau. So Wednesdays are the Whangarata Community Centre, Thursday mornings it's volunteering at the museum, that's always free, and Friday mornings is Shara. I do an open day, free open day once a month, and otherwise it's scheduled workshops. The museum is weather dependent, so just check before you drive a long way and expect to find me there. Thanks so much and have a great month in the garden.